Hi, so a little bit of a late start. Apologies there. We had a weird little thing with YouTube where it changed one of the features on me. But anyway, welcome to the Fight for the Future live stream. My name is Joe. I'm the video producer here at Fight for the Future. Um, Before we get started, I just wanted to go over a few things. If you like this content, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and click the bell so that you get notifications for when these live streams happen in the future. We're also now on Apple Podcasts. So if you want access to the audio only version, you can go through there and subscribe that way. There are links below in the description to access all of that content. And we are working on getting Spotify, but that's the approval process is just taking a second for that. But I will be sure to let folks know when that version is available. And we also actually have the RSS feed available as well. If you'd like to follow us on other social media, stuff like Twitter and Instagram, the links are also available below in the description. I am joined today by Vasjen Katro. He is the lead designer here at Fight for the Future. And he has been working a bit on NFTs, which stands for non-fungible token, which is a one-of-a-kind, unique piece of digital art, which is something that hasn't existed previously and is proving to be possibly quite a disruptive piece of technology. So we might as well jump right into it. Vasyan, I know you've been working on NFTs and you've minted some fairly recently. Could you maybe describe a little bit about what you've been working on in the NFT space?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Joe. This is interesting, and this is like a very interesting topic, especially for what is going on right now in the NFT world. So you explained that sort of well in what an NFT is, but like for me, it was very difficult in beginning understanding what actually it is, even though I'm someone who works in different mediums, especially digital mediums, from graphic design, 3D, music, and a lot of digital art related. So yeah, I mean, like I saw a lot of my designer friends getting engaged with NFT since early last year, a little bit more around August, October, sort of 2020. And I was seeing like a lot of my designer friends, especially the ones who are more into 3D work, they were getting very much into NFTs and trying to sort of mint some of their work on these different platforms. And I mean, at the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna give it a little bit time and see how these things evolve, and like how the interest is going to be, or like how the whole technology is going to evolve a little bit. But then the last couple of weeks, it's been mostly for me, it's been like a fear of missing out on everything that is happening. Like I've seen a lot of people jumping into it, a lot of artists, musicians, like all kind of arts mediums, especially the ones that already were doing work on digital. So as for me, to answer your question, in the last couple of weeks, I started to I have this project where I used to design a poster every day since 2016 called Baugasm, where, I had sort of a following around that. And I felt like, it was interesting to see how people that already follow me for quite a while would be interested in getting some of these posters. I've been, trying to consider my work overall as a piece of work, artwork, like a real poster that actually you printed, like a painting that you, like I had people who asked me for prints that they put it on their house, office, and so on. So like NFTs are so like, okay, so now it's not about like you owning just one piece of this printed artwork, but actually you own the thing, like the same as in the real world with, like with a painting, like, you still know what like only one, there is one Mona Lisa, right? So like that's the thing that intrigued me with this, and I made me jump into it. So yeah, I mean, like I've minted, I don't know, like I think 5 or 6 of my work already, and I already sold, I think 2 or 3. I have to check, but one of those was in collaboration with another artist. So like, but yeah, I mean, like I've been trying to get a little bit slow and see how the whole medium is evolving, and like getting into this conversation with a lot of people on Twitter, on Instagram, a lot of my designer friends, seeing what the hype is about, and like is it just a hype, or is this something more? So yeah, I don't know if that sums up a little bit.
So, can you tell me a little bit about some of the platforms that are being used? I know that you favor one. I don't remember which one that is, but I know that there are numerous platforms that these NFTs are available on. And is it generally like auction format, or are people just like selling them as like individual units without auction?
So I mean, like the ones that I'm aware of, there are like a lot, like and so many new ones are being open almost every day right now, and different for different mediums, like even for musicians, photographers. I think there was also like a Blau, which is like a electronic music producer, that he even made his own website just to share his own NFTs. I don't know how, maybe got a developer to do that, but I'm not sure how that worked. But like most of the platforms that are right now, it's like I believe there is OpenSea, which is like it's like the main sort of platform in that everybody can join. And just for everybody to know, the way how it works is like when you mint something, like when you add it, you have to pay this gas fee. So basically, it's like the process fee that you make this a token. So like you have to pay for that. And I feel like some of the platforms you have to pay upfront, and sometimes the gas fees have been really high lately, but sometimes you can find cheaper price. But I feel like OpenSea is like the one that you pay, if I remember correctly, you pay one small fee in the beginning to get in, just for the authentication, I think. And then if you put any work in there, you don't pay for gas fees until that thing has been bought.
Okay.
But sometimes I see people falling for the trap that they put their work there, it gets like a small amount of bid on it, and then you have to sort of the gas fee is a little bit more expensive than actually what they sold the work, especially on the days where the gas fees were really high. Like for one of my works that I really wanted to put out there, because I had like somebody asking for it, I had to pay like $280 in Ethereum for minting the whole thing. So like now I think it's a little bit cheaper overall.
Mhm.
But as to answer your question, is like OpenSea is like the platform where everybody can get in. So then there you have these high end sort of platforms that are a bit more curated, like Nifty Gateway, which the way how they're doing it is like they're inviting these big names, big artists who already have like a reputation for their work. They have a lot of following. They have created a lot of buzz, a lot of hype around their work. So and they're doing these drops the same way, like how Supreme, or like how every other brand, high-end brand is operating with drops, like very limited amount of artworks, and like on a specific date with a specific limited number of artists. I think it's like 2 or 4 artists a week or something like that, uh, or 2 drops a week. I'm not sure. I have to see that. But like, so it's Nifty Gateway, and I think that's the one where people, if you have read the news, it's like the artist who actually, like the 3D artist who made like millions just selling his works online. And I think he dropped most of those on Nifty. And I think then the second one, I think after that, is like Super Rare, which is invite only. Like, I mean, you can't get into these platforms. Like, you need to apply, and they get you like like you even, this was the tricky part, because you have to submit like I think it was like a type form application. One of them had like a Google form application that you have to submit works that you want to actually mint in their platform, and have also like a video saying something about yourself, who you are, what you work for, and give a little bit explanation why you're minting your work, what is the future for your art looks like why you want to do this, and so on. So like there is a lot of these questions. Most of these platforms you have to apply. I think there are a bunch, like, so it's Super Rare, which is invite only, and I've been trying to get into that. A lot of my designer friends are already there. I've jumped late into the game, so I'm trying to get in. And I feel like it's very I think it's one of the biggest right now, because like that's most of the collectors are going to find artists. And then I think is Foundation is the other one, and the way how Foundation is working is like a invite only platform, in sense of not like the other ones, but they're not the ones who, maybe they were the first ones in the beginning to select the artist to join the platform. But then if you sell something, in the beginning was like you are being given like 3 invites, and then after that you'll be able to share those invites with some other artists or creatives that you want to share your work with. And then I think now they switched to 10 invites uh, per sale. I think like if you sell one NFT, you get like 10 invites, so you can invite 10 people. And after that, that move that they did, I feel like I saw that the space got very crowded. Like right now, you can see like a lot of um, artists and all kind of sort of genres being submitted in there. And I think until this point, they support sort of an image and an MP4, like a video. But I see that when you go there to submit something, they also support, they're going to give support for audio. And I feel like also AR interactive element. I'm not sure
Is
how
this
that.
foundation?
This is Foundation, yeah. On non-origin, I'm waiting to get in as well, which is another platform. I think there is Bitsky, which is another one. I haven't gotten to those one. For me, until now, there is Rarible, which is like similar to OpenSea, which you can get without an invite. And like everybody who wants to get into NFTs, I would recommend that you get into, like Rarible or maybe OpenSea as a beginning. And if you have somebody who has an invite to Foundation, is great. For me, Foundation is great until this point because I love the interface, I love the design, how they have done it, and they keep a little bit of high fee, I would say, like 15% of the sales, but it's interesting to as a platform also the way how the whole interface is done, and like it's clean and simple for me. Also like the presentation because I treat my profile there as my portfolio of works, and that's how it's been working. So there are a bunch of more, I think, like new ones are going to be open soon. If I check, like there are probably like 10 or 15 by now, like already, but these are like the main ones, I would say.
The thing that I find really fascinating about NFTs and a lot of what you were just saying is that NFTs as a technology are sort of an inversion of what the entire mission of cryptocurrency and open platforms and decentralized platforms were intended to be. This open blockchain, the idea is that it's permissionless. The idea is that there are no gatekeepers. And yet I'm seeing all of these, new NFT platforms coming in and putting themselves between customers and artists. And it almost looks like if you want to sell or auction an NFT for a good amount of money, that you kind of need to go through these gateways. I mean, Nifty Gateway, for an example, it just calls themselves that. Like they're very upfront about the fact that they're gatekeepers. Um,
Exactly.
and I think that it's really interesting that inside of blockchain tech, inside of these open platforms, inside of these decentralized systems, we're seeing these very closed off, very permissioned systems that are built on permissionless tech. And I think that this is probably a pattern that we've seen a lot. I know, for example, like closed source applications like Google, for example, I think uses a lot of like open source technology in their software. So I'm just wondering how far we would see this go. I mean, it's just interesting to think about because this isn't what I think something like NFTs are not what a lot of people envisioned when they were talking about like the liberatory nature of blockchain tech and decentralized systems. At the same time, I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool that that artists are using the Ethereum network to distribute their work, and that there's potential there because there's potential there for a better distribution platform, I think, possibly. Because at the heart of it, these um, closed platforms that are needed right now to make waves in the NFT auction space are needed mostly to get the word out about your work. The reality is that Ethereum is permissionless. Like no one actually needs Nifty Gateway or any of these platforms to mint an NFT on Ethereum. It just so happens that right now that appears to be a necessity in terms of publicity. But I'm wondering, now that we have technology that can, issue unique digital items, I'm wondering how that affects intellectual property going forward, because there are a few ways that it could be used that can be pro artists, like artists issuing things on their own, like sort of like a decentralized version of Bandcamp could be really cool, where you can buy limited edition albums, things like that could be really cool, because you can't really do like a limited edition digital
Right.
album until
Right.
now.
But I feel like, the technology is just getting started. So like, I feel like, a lot of people are trying to, at this point, a lot of people are trying to understand what NFTs are and what the
Yeah.
possibilities with it are. I think like we are on a really early stage of seeing different use cases of this being applied on so many mediums, on so many uh, cases. Like the other day, I was into this club. I mean, like, if there is something that is happening right now in NFTs world, as much as I'm seeing, is like everything is happening in Clubhouse and Twitter.
Mm.
Like I was not aware of this, but like Clubhouse is like booming right now, especially for NFTs rooms of everybody jumping in and talking about NFTs.
Yeah,
And
what
like,
kind of stuff is going on in there in
so
Clubhouse about NFTs?
it's very interesting because like think about this, like who are the people who are the collectors that are getting, I mean, before I get there, I wanted to add a little bit on Nifty Gateway, because I feel like, there is OpenSea, there is Rarible, like everybody can mint an NFT right now. The only issue that you might have as an artist, depending on what your economical status is right now, it's all like how much you can afford the gas fees to mint your first work. Because uh, if it costs like $200 $300 to mint like something that you don't know if it's going to sell, and maybe you think that the collector won't be really interested in buying your work, or you don't work on that. It's like the real world. Like think about this small artist, like if I would be today deciding that, or like I've been doing 2 months design work, like a painting or something like that, and I hear about NFTs and I want to jump into that. If I have already people that are interested in my work from different platforms, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere that, I sort of advertise this kind of work, probably even if I mint something on OpenSea or Rarible, I'm the one who is going to advertise on this. And like if a collector sees my work or knows my work, it's going to go in either of these platforms and mint, sort of purchase my work. But what Nifty Gateway and Super Rare and all these invite-only platforms are trying to do is basically uh, curate the work that the collectors jump in and select, like, who am I going to purchase this or this? Like they're making the job easier for the collectors to sort of purchase the right works. But
They're more
who's
like an art gallery
Yes,
than like an
exactly.
open
They're
platform.
doing the art gallery thing, but
Yeah.
in the end, it's still, to me, it's still gatekeeping because it's very subjective, like who you choose or
Yeah.
not. And I feel like most of these platforms are trying to build hype for themselves as well. Like they're trying to invite people who already have a following, just because they want to sell in the end of the day. Like they want to take a profit out of it. And I feel like every every artist at this point is trying to get into these platforms because they know that the collectors are going to go there. But if you see it from the collector's perspective, who are these people who are actually purchasing these works, right? Like, are these just people who know about art? Like, if you think about art collectors in real world, like, in the physical world, those are people who travel the world. They go into these galleries, they go into these auction places because they know that a Banksy, it's a Banksy, and they know they're buying it because they want to have it on their house, or they just want to flip it 10 years later, or like, they want to make money out of it in a way or
Yeah,
another.
what's your sense of the ratio there among these NFT art collectors, from speculators to people who like love art and want to collect art?
I, I feel it's both, but on my opinion, I think most of these collectors, um, so it's a little bit delicate as a thing, because I feel like, you know most of the collectors right now who are buying, as much as I'm seeing, are actually people who have been into the crypto world for a very long time, like
Mhm.
people who already had like a you know made investment in crypto. They have the amount of capital to spend on this, and they're seeing this as an investment in the sense of like, I'm going to buy a Beeple because I know, like, Beeple the other day was selling something for like, I don't know, like $1, one edition of his work, and like it was getting flipped the 2 hours later for like $200,000. So like the people who are buying these are, they know the value and they're trying to understand the value of each of these artworks from different artists. So in the end, it's like, who are these people to, this is the question that I'm trying to answer as well. Like, these collectors who are spending a lot of money or investing in one artist right now, do they actually know who the artist is and what is their decision based into investing on this? Is it something because they like it and they want to have it on their portfolio, or they see it as a future um, investment that they're making now, and they trust so much in this artist that 10 years from now this artist is going to get so big and it's going to be so demandable that this work from this artist in the future is going to cost so much money, so I'm going to flip it and make money out of it. Because there are two types of collectors, and this is what I'm trying to explain. And I've seen like the ones that actually buy something because they really like it and they want to have it there. But I would say like a bigger percentage is just because they want to make money out of it, and they see that.
You think
And
that's
what
the
I
majority
That's a
are
majority.
speculators?
That's at least what I think, but I might be wrong on this. Like, don't take. But I mean, like, because I don't know who these collectors are. Like, they don't come from the art world, right?
Mhm.
Like some of them on these rooms that I've been, some of them say that um, I don't know much about art. Some of them say I know about art. So, and also like another phenomenon that I've seen starting happening is like a lot of these artists who actually made a lot of money selling NFTs are trying to support other artists by purchasing other artists' NFTs.
Hmm.
But I feel like the artists are becoming the investors, or like investing into NFTs in the sense of like they're becoming collectors. But I feel like the artists are doing way better than the actual collectors because the artists already know the art. They know who are these artists and how much value their work is going to have
Right.
10 years from now in sense of investment, if we take it like that. Or like I had a designer friend of mine who we collaborated many times together, like 2 days ago, bidding in one of my artwork and was like the first bidder on my work. And I was like so hyped. And I was like, thank you. And she's like, I love your work. Of course, I want to support you. But, like this thing goes back and forth between artists right now. But most of the collectors who are spending the crazy amount of money, I feel like they're just trusting the hype right now. And this is what kind of I'm a little bit skeptical. It's one sense I'm trying to understand how it's going, because like a lot of these um, collectors, do they actually know who X artist who is building a hype around their work is? Because I'm seeing like a lot of creators right now are jumping into Twitter, in a lot of clubhouse rooms, talking about NFTs, about their work. So think about this, like they're inflating the hype about their work, and trying to build like a lot of hype around their work. So when collectors jumping and they're like, oh, it's been so much talked about these artists and these designers or these creatives that they must have something for the future. So I should invest in them. Because if we always see it as an investment, if we see it as somebody who is a collector, that's subjective, on my opinion. It's like, you love it, you have the money, you buy it. That's how I see it. But yeah, it's very interesting. It's very, I mean, it's still early on, so we are seeing all kind of things happening right now.
Something that I think is very interesting about these, and that some of the viewers might not understand about NFTs, is that NFTs are the first killer application of something that has been in the works for probably at least 30 years. And that is this concept in computer science of a smart contract. And that's basically like an enforceable like piece of software that is based on real world information. And I believe, I can't remember his name. There's a person who is suspected to possibly be Satoshi Nakamoto, who coined the term smart contract. I'll mention him if he comes to me. But the whole idea with smart contracts is that you are entering an agreement that is like bound with a blockchain that is based on or executed under like real world conditions. So in this case, it's that you're transferring like digital ownership of an item, but these NFTs could potentially become a lot more complex, where you are owning a digital item that can change and evolve based on your decisions or the decisions of others or other verifiable conditions. And I'm just wondering, what you envision as a possible like evolution of the format, because something that I haven't heard of yet. I hear a lot of um, smart contract like applications. Like I know Kings of Leon is issuing an NFT special edition of an album that will give the purchaser like lifetime access to all of their live shows or something.
Wait, isn't that, or it's? I thought it was that they're selling the whole album. Like you own the
I
songs.
I thought that, so my interpretation of it was that it's like a special edition. They're selling a finite number of special edition NFT versions of their album that would give the purchaser access to any of their concerts forever or something.
Okay.
I could be wrong. It
Uh,
could be like the do you remember a few years ago when Martin Shkreli purchased
yeah,
exclusive rights to that Wu-Tang album? It could be like that.
yeah. I
What I
thought it
read
was
in
more like
the
that. I thought it was more like, because another artist did this before. As I was saying, it was Blau. It's like this electronic music producer who
Mhm.
made even his own website selling the NFTs in there, dropped that in his own platform, and not going into one of these. But he built a lot of hype around his work as well. But like he's the one who actually did it for music. But I feel like Kings of Leon, I think, are the first band to do this, because I feel like um, yeah, he needs some prop, like Blau needs some he was very smart and acted so fast on it. But yeah, I mean, like sorry if I interrupted you there, but like I see the application for NFTs is like, to me, is endless. It's
Right.
all, anything that could be digitalized, could be from something that you write on a paper, like even like something that you want to make public, like you invented a formula in chemistry, I don't know, like you want to make it public, you just write it somewhere, mint it. I mean, like you can do that in real world as well, but like if you mint it, like and like you make different editions of it, or like if you make even one person is going to own that. But I don't know, like there's so much. Think about this, maybe even just watching like a Netflix movie, or like a movie somewhere, and you see that there is a painting in this movie that was done just for the movie, and they can mint these things, like all the prompts that were used in movies, like TV shows or anything like that, anything that you see digitally and you get attached to it. Like I don't know, I see so many opportunities on like from concert tickets to anything. I don't know, I even envision like a platform like Instagram, where everything that you see
Mm.
published in there, all kind of digital content, it's purchasable in sense of like you can buy it if you want. You can make it your own. Even just
Right.
something. What I started seeing happening in the whole NFT space right now is like memes that always were like something that someone created. Like I think there was a meme about Bad Luck Brian, that just they're trying to mint that, like the photo. And I think, I don't know how much is going to be sold, but like
Yeah.
going to pay off to the person who actually, to Brian. I don't know if it is called Brian or not, but like
Hearing
um
stuff like that, it's hard to not get like an apocalyptic vibe from what NFTs could do to the internet,
exactly.
because I don't I don't want an internet where the entire platform is commodified and sellable necessarily. It's like I said, like these NFTs almost feel like potentially an inversion of everything good about the internet. Um, where because my personal belief is that you know the world's information should be free and available and not kept behind a gate or bought and sold necessarily. it's a little idealistic, but I think that that is like the morally correct position. You know, if we can transmit information at low costs, then everyone should be able to have it. And on the other hand, it does solve various like digital ownership issues. One application of it that I haven't really seen yet, that I'd be interested in hearing from you if you've seen any activity like this, is we see a lot of music and art, you know,
And a lot of
like
3D art, actually.
3D art as well. So that's sort of what I'm talking about. Like I know like music, which are music like audio files, art, which are JPEGs and PNGs and stuff like that. But what I would be really interested in seeing, and I'm curious if it exists, is software-based NFTs that can change and evolve over time based on real world um, conditions. Stuff that runs in the Ethereum virtual computer. That, for example, you know, some kind of painting where it mirrors the weather in your GPS coordinates, or something that ages, or something that changes its form and conditions based on how many times it's been traded. These are really
Or
interesting
something that
things.
lasts only for a little while. Like,
Yes.
you can burn even an NFT, like, like, ditch it, like, I don't know, throw it.
So when I heard about somebody burning that Banksy and turning it into an NFT, my original interpretation of the headline was, oh, people are making like ephemeral NFTs. So these unique but impermanent works. I think that that could actually genuinely be really cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is very interesting and like very open. It's endless what you can do with it, as I would say. But I feel like the reason why we are seeing JPEGs and PNGs and music and things like that is because it's the easier thing that you can do right
Yeah.
now. Like the easier thing that you can do on the web right now is like upload something that is already done. But like when it comes to platforms or like complex sort of um, applications, as you were mentioning, or like things like that, I feel like platforms like that need to be built. And these first ones were the first ones who sort of tested the water just to see if NFTs were something, to look for. There are people who are actually, calling NFTs as Web 3.0. Like this is like,
I can see that.
yeah, it's like everything. I mean, we were using like all monetary, sort of the whole monetary system, the way how we are using credit cards on the internet, and everything is like, coming from the physical world and trying to adopt that into the internet world. While NFTs are making everything part of it. It came so naturally, so I feel like it belongs with the internet in a way. But as it's going to evolve, I think it's up to every one of us. And like, are going to be people who are going to abuse with it, are going to be companies, organizations who are going to see this as a way of profiting so fast. And in the end, it's like all based into the crypto, like we know
Yeah.
that that's very, it's all based on the blockchain. So even as if you see it as an investment, that's unpredictable. You never know how it's gonna go. But like at least, the part that I see that is very interesting is the fact that it has some sort of authenticity to it, which on the internet didn't exist until now. Like in sense of like every I see it on the side of my work as a digital artist. Like, anybody could copy my work, and I put a PNG on Pinterest, on Instagram, it goes everywhere. Everybody could own that. Everybody could get a high quality of my print it and have it on their home. But in the end, so many people have a Mona Lisa in their home. They print it, they put it on a frame, it's there. But like for you to own the actual thing,
Mhm.
it's a different thing. And the way of how this is going to be applied, not only to art, but to a lot of usages from, mobile apps, and so many other, not only on collectibles, but I mean like even on things that, everybody on the internet uses from I don't know, like buying a digital product that you need for a specific thing. It's yours. Like even like, you know, purchasing a like I have a 3D software like Cinema 4D, which is like a 3D software program. I To get it, I had to get this code. I had to you know, go through. I have to purchase it online, and they send me like a code which I enter on the app and everything like that. But think about this: like if I own that, it's mine. It's there on the blockchain. I don't have to go through
Right.
an email and see where they send me the serial of it or like anything like that. So like, you know, there's so much technologies that is going to build on top of this. Even when you purchase a software, a product, or anything like that, like there, I was seeing like a lot of gamers actually were starting to buy assets and things inside the games, but you couldn't use those outside the game, or like they're all collectibles inside the game, or like, you know, so and I heard this story on Clubhouse saying that the kids nowadays, especially younger, really young generation who are getting into the games, they don't want to go out and buy like, you know, like a X physical thing. They just want to buy something inside the game, like Fortnite, you know, like a custom skin or something like that, just because that it makes them in the game look different. Like the same, why would you buy like a pair
Like
of
they have a higher value on
Super?
digital items rather than physical items.
Yeah, I mean that's something that was being discussed, but it's happening. It's happening in sense of like, you know, even in Among Us game, like the reason why you buy these different skins is because you wanted to look a little bit different. It's so much reflecting the real world, why people buy expensive things or like something just gonna want to stand out. So in the digital world you could do this, but you know, with NFTs you own that for life, and you can own that, and the way
Yeah.
how you take it out of the game, it's something that these platforms are gonna see how it's going to evolve. You know, it's
Actually
going to
makes me
be on.
wonder if, you know, NFTs and Web3 are sort of the baby steps of the metaverse. You know, a parallel universe where it's not just like websites and stuff, but there are real physical, well, since it's an alternate reality, they're physical there, but there are these unique physical objects that exist in that world, and that we're starting to see. Like you were saying, like there is a whole generation of people that may be valuing digital items or items in the metaverse more than a physical item in this in our real world.
I think
Um,
that's where we are headed to. It's scary, I know, but like it's
I
it's
never
happening.
thought of
Like
NFTs as the first step of the metaverse, though. That's wild.
yeah, but I've seen this trend on TikTok of like uh, someone asking like someone from born before year 2000, like how do you take a photo? And then everybody born before 2000, they all do this, taking a photo. But if you ask kids sort of born after 2000, you know, they all do this. And that to me shocked me. I was like, wait, yeah, it makes so much sense because that's how they take the photos. But you know, like if you grow up with the idea of like the internet, since you grew, you know, like these
Yeah.
video games, you're so touched. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to have like a custom of, you know, Superman or like something, I don't know, like a car or anything like that. That's the value of what I was able to get. But if I was able to buy like you know, like a DVD and have you know, like the Superman or like whatever, like something else in there that I could purchase, like in video games, you know, I would probably get that because I feel so much attached to that than the real world because you don't see Superman in the real world.
You know, I actually kind of get the digital versus physical item thing. Just a little like example from my life is, you know, I've been looking into purchasing some movies recently, and I was seeing, you know, Blu-rays apparently have a higher fidelity, but I really genuinely don't want a like physical media. Like I don't want a disc on a bookshelf. Like it takes up space. I can lose it. It can get damaged. And I was looking at like just purchasing digitally because to me it just seems like a more resilient object than a physical one. So I kind of understand where people are coming from with preferring digital over physical.
Correct.
Um,
But it's so easy also to maintain overall and organize. Think about it. Like,
it's
for
indestructible.
us, yeah, it's like for us it's very for me, like I have this crowded studio here. Like I have so many things and I freak out when I don't find
Yeah.
something, right? Like I have a book that I purchased traveling the world, being somewhere, like a book that I really loved, and I wanted to find it where I had it. And I was like, I can't find it. It makes me anxious in the end of like, I worked so hard to find that book and I don't know where I have it. Did I give it to someone, or like did I, is it somewhere in on a corner? But like all of these in the end is like so difficult to get not it's easier to get attached to physical things
Yes.
than it is to the digital items. uh, because like I lost, like I remember like a couple of years ago, like one of my hard drives was burnt, like the computer, the whole thing. I lost work of like 5 6 years of my works. And I didn't get that. I got upset, but I didn't get that much upset as I would have if I had like a bookshelf with
Totally.
all these books or like artworks of mine. So it's like very interesting thing on the way how we are grown up actually. But I feel like the younger generation doesn't see these the same way we do. At least that's what I think about
I
it, because
agree.
they see it, it's part of the world. It's part of, like, they get attached to the digital items the same we do to the physical ones.
And
uh,
if I could choose between having a Blu-ray or like access to a digital file, I would pick the digital file. And if I could pick it as an NFT rather than buying it from Google or Amazon or Apple or whatever, I would
yes.
I think the wise decision is the NFT because Ethereum isn't going anywhere, but any of the companies that are selling you that, they can revoke your license. You don't really own digital things that you buy through Google or Amazon. You own the license. And NFTs
But
are sort
from
of
any
honest
any other
about that.
software,
Yeah.
from any other company, like what happens if, like, I was making this example of that software that I had bought for 3D. What happened if that company fails, like, doesn't give you an update, or like,
Right.
I don't find the email anymore, like Google decides to shut down the servers or something like that. I mean, like, I'm not going that extreme, because if you go that extreme, I mean, the whole blockchain fails.
Well, no,
And
it's the digital ownership issue is happening right now with Stadia. Stadia is floundering. For the folks that don't know, Stadia is a streaming games platform, but you sign up for it and you still need to buy the games. So you're paying $60 to get access to this, Call of Duty or whatever you want to play. And there is a real chance that Stadia will not exist in a year. And there is no plan for how to reconcile those purchases after Stadia gets closed by Google. Um, and this is the problem with centralized digital content ownership. And I think maybe the solution that NFTs pose to that centralization issue is that we shouldn't centralize digital ownership. It's too ephemeral. It needs to be decentralized. Maybe there could be fewer gatekeepers, but as a tech, yeah, maybe NFTs are at least a significant improvement over centralized digital ownership.
correct, correct. I mean, like, as I was saying, like, at this point, it's like everything we're gonna see how. But I see NFTs being the future in so many use cases.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
there are a lot of other. It's not now. It's based only on Ethereum, but I feel like they're gonna be. They're saying Cardano, other, cryptos that are trying to build upon the same smart contract. So we're gonna see the usage of that, more and more, and see
Mhm.
how it's going to evolve. And I feel like we are living on a really exciting time. For me, last couple of weeks have been with a big fear of missing out. Like, I've jumped in every clubhouse possible, because there is like a lot of the conversation happening right now in Twitter. Clubhouse, I believe, got a lot of hype right now just because of NFTs. Which today I learned that also Twitter is doing something similar to, like, I think it's called Twitter Spaces, something like that. That is mimicking. For everybody that doesn't know, Clubhouse is like a social place that you go, and it's voice only, where you get with a couple of friends, or like random people around the internet, and it's voice only. So it's like this. It's like and it's very interesting because you can just jump there, and like you can listen to a lot of conversation similar to what you would listen to this podcast. So a lot of NFT conversation is happening there, and a lot of discussions around with collectors and artists at this point are happening on Twitter. And the reason is because I feel like a lot of these collectors were in the crypto scene, and I feel like the crypto scene is more into Twitter than any other platform.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah.
Um, so have you purchased any NFTs yourself? Do you have an NFT art collection at all?
Not really. I want to do it, but I'm seeing it as I will do it as soon as I have enough money.
Mhm.
Uh, but I want to I want to support my other artist friends actually the same way some of them have already with me. But I'm trying to actually. So it's very yes. I want to. I want to go in OpenSea and support other smaller artists and so on. But I want to also like try to sell some of my work as an NFT in the sense of like make a budget to do this as well. But I've sold some of my works. They've not been crazy amounts as some of the artists that we have seen. Like I have designer friends who are selling for like 20K, 30K, 40K of works, and it's interesting to see that grow. It's very fascinating. Like I heard story the way like I was not able to pay my rent. Now I can afford to buy a house. And so it's very interesting to see how that is moving. But like, uh, I'm also really excited to see how this is going to evolve. It's very early on. Like if you jump into these clubhouse rooms where are being talked about NFTs, you see like thousands of people joining because they want to know what NFTs are, how they can get into this. And I feel like right now it's what is happening is like gold rush.
Right.
Like everyone is jumping in because they want to make quick bucks. Like they want to sell that work that they already have done, or they've seen other people making a lot of money out of it and say like, I'm just going to jump on this first. And like there is a lot of fear of missing out, and I'm one of them, including me in the beginning. But I'm trying to go back a little bit and see it from a different perspective and play it a little bit differently, uh, and be conscious what is happening with almost the whole scene. But it's I don't know. I'm curious to see what the perspective is in some people who have been on this earlier than me. Probably from last year. I have a few friends, but they say I think they're in the same position. They're just trying to understand it.
If people want to check out your work, primarily the NFTs because of that, because that's what we're talking about, but
Yeah,
also just in general, where can people find you online,
yeah.
like your social media, but also where can people buy your work?
So you can go on foundation dot app slash Baugasm. It's BAUGASM. Um, and you'll be able, or just, go on my Twitter, Baugasm again, and you'll have a link there for into my uh, foundation account profile, sort of where I have my work. And yeah, so they can go and check it out there, and Instagram Balgasm again, and even if you just Google my name, you'll be able to find my Instagram or like Twitter, and you'll be able to find one of these accounts.
Cool. Vasjen, thank you very much
Oh, thank you.
for
This was
joining me
fun.
today. It was a super interesting conversation. I'm
Yeah,
sure that we're not done. There's a lot more to talk about with NFTs, so
totally.
or just art in general. So I would love to have you back sometime, but really appreciate you joining.
Of course.
Um, if you, like I said at the beginning, if you are interested in this content and you want to keep up with it, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you like this video, and make sure that you click the bell so that you get notifications for when we go live in the future. And also make sure you follow us on other social media. I have everything linked below, but follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. Check out our Medium. We're always posting stuff all over the place, and we would love for more people to be able to check it out. So make sure you keep up with us if you like this content. But thank you for joining us this week. We'll be back next week. We're here every Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern. And yeah, look forward to seeing everybody next time. So.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.